Good morning. Happy Monday. I'm Greg. Welcome to today's edition of the Daily Bible Wrap-Up, where I go through the readings following the reading plan that's in the show notes. If you want to follow along with that, I'll be doing the same thing again next year. At least that's the plan. Probably we'll have a different reading plan, but we'll see how that all goes. From today's reading plan, we've got Psalm 119. We finished Psalm 119. It's been a while. Verses 169 through 176, Hebrews 7, 11 through 25, if I'm reading this correctly. Let me put on my glasses. That helps me a little bit. Ezekiel 10 through 12. So Psalm 119, and it's actually Hebrews 7, 11 through 28. I can see that on the screen right here. So this reading, this psalm reading, wraps up this very long psalm, and I return to the beginning of this psalm to better understand the bookends, the beginning and the ending. So it starts out with, joyful are people of integrity who follow the instructions of the Lord. Joyful are those who obey his laws and search for him with all their hearts. They do not compromise with evil, and they walk only in his path. So this entire psalm springs from the roots of joy, yet the psalmist recognizes he needs constant help. Joy is not enough, because this is how he ends it. Verse 174, O Lord, I have longed for your rescue, and your instructions are my delight, or joy in my words. Let me live so I can praise you, and may your regulations help me. I have wandered away like a lost sheep. Come and find me, for I have not forgotten your commands. So even in joy, we sometimes lose our way, and at those times we need to reach out to the Lord. New Testament, we're in Hebrews. Pick it up at verse 11 in chapter 7. Now the author here poses an interesting question to the Jews. If the Levitic priesthood was so perfect, why the need to change it by installing a priest on the order of Melchizedek? Tongue twister. Instead of the order of Levi and Aaron. Because the old requirement of following the lineage priesthood was weak and useless. That's according to verse 18. The law never made anything perfect. Quote verse 24, but because Jesus lives forever, his priesthood lasts forever. Therefore, he is able once and forever to save those who come through God through him. He lives forever to intercede with God on their behalf. So verse 28 summarizes the question that was posed in the beginning, and that was, quote, the law appointed high priests who were limited by human weaknesses. But after the law was given, God appointed his son with an oath, and his son has been made to be the perfect high priest forever. So again, what's going on here is trying to explain to the Jews where Jesus sits in all of this in relation to what the Jewish people already know. Old Testament, Ezekiel 10, Ezekiel's vision with the heads of the cherubim and the wheels. This is continuing. The Lord spoke to the man in linen clothing and directed him to scatter a handful of burning coals over the city. Now, the cherubim, the living beings with four faces, I'm assuming, were standing in the temple, and the glory of the Lord rose from them and filled the temple. I'd get lost in this symbolism and description. It's difficult to follow. More description of the cherubim wheels follow. I won't repeat, except two things seem to be repeated. A wheel turning within a wheel, and eyes all over the wheels, and apparently on the cherubim. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Maybe all-seeing, nothing gets hidden. I'm not sure. The cherubim rose, and the glory of the Lord then rose to a position above the cherubim. Ezekiel notes at least twice that this was the same living beings he had seen before. Now, Ezekiel 11, I'm assuming that it is a continuation of the same vision. Not still sure yet whether or not this is all on Ezekiel's head. The Spirit lifted him and brought him to the east gate of the temple. The Spirit, not the cherubim or the glory of the Lord, which to me implies that there are three separate entities here. It's kind of interesting. Does it mirror the Trinity? He is instructed to prophesy against men planning evil and giving wicked counsel in the city. It's verse 2. The Spirit gave Ezekiel the words to say, judgment is coming, but another message of hope, quote 16, from verse 16. Although I have scattered you in the countries of the world, I will be a sanctuary for you during your time in exile. I, the sovereign Lord, will gather you back from the nations where you have been scattered, and I will give you the land of Israel once again. So a message of hope. Then the glory of the Lord and the cherubim departed, and the Spirit of God, guess who was left behind, carried Ezekiel to Babylonia. This was the end of his vision. Now, since he was transported to Babylon, I'm guessing it wasn't all on his head, like a dream. Now, Ezekiel 12 is a new message about the coming exile. So I'm assuming this is the second or third exile, because there's already some folks exiled in Babylon. That's where Ezekiel is, as I understand. Besides, he was just transported there. We just talked about that. Ezekiel is instructed to perform a mock exile packing and leaving to show the people what will occur. He predicts Zedekiah's departing, blinding, and death in Babylon. A remnant will survive, so quote verse 16, they can confess all of their detestable sins to their captors. Then they will know that I am the Lord. Ezekiel is told to repeat that the time has come for every prophecy to be fulfilled. That's it for today. Hope you have a wonderful day. We'll pick it up again tomorrow. And prayers that you walk by the Spirit today, as always. Take care.